put your body under what? Subject. See, the flesh has to be put under subjection in order to obey the word. Because sometimes God will tell us to do that which he knows we don't want to do. And if you don't know how to put your flesh under subjection, you won't do what God tells you to do. You'll do what you feel like doing. And some of us in the state we in this morning as a result of always doing what you feel like doing rather than doing what God told you to do.
Take it to Jesus. Hey, and let God. You gotta and let God. Don't worry about it and let God. Cast your burden and let God. Let God do it. Let God do it. Let God do it. Let God do it. Don't worry about it. You gotta let him do it. Don't cry about it. You gotta let him do it. While you're staying up all night. While you're worried about it, you can't work it out. Let God do it. Let God do it.
Notice Psalms 81. Let's look at verse number 11. Read down to verse number 14. Notice here as the psalmist speaks, he's speaking on behalf of God. And the psalmist is speaking to the point to where it's as if God is talking through the psalmist in verse number 11. Because he said, but my people, this is God, would not heed my voice. But my people would not heed my voice. And Israel would have none of me. This is God now. So I gave them over to their own stubborn heart to walk in their own counsels. Verse 13. Oh, that my people would listen to me, that Israel would walk in my ways. I would soon subdue their enemies and turn my hand against their adversaries. Look at verse 11. But my people would not heed my voice. They would not hear me. They would not hearken unto my voice. He says again in verse 13, oh, that my people would listen to me. This is God desiring that his people listen to him. And you have to understand, because we were created free moral agents, then God himself gives us the power of choice. We can choose to listen to God, or we also can choose to ignore him. I hear God talking to me, I'm going to listen to him. But on the other hand, I can very well easily say, I hear God talking to me, but I'm going to ignore him. And notice that the implication of the scripture is that he wanted to do something for his people or for Israel that they could not do for themselves. He wanted to subdue their enemies. I want to fight your enemies for you. I want to defeat them for you. But in order for that to happen, I need you to listen to me. Now, the antithesis of listen is to ignore. To ignore. Based upon it, look at somebody and tell them the subject this morning. Be careful who you ignore. Look at someone else and tell them the subject this morning. Be careful who you ignore. Now I want you to get that finger, that index finger right there, and I want you to that pointing finger. The one you use sometime when you're upset with somebody or you saying something that's serious to you. Look at a person with that little finger pointing at him or her and say, be careful who you ignore. Amen. Let's give God a praise before we go further. Come on, let's give him a better hand of praise. Be careful who you ignore. Again, in Psalm 11 and the following verses, again, God wanted his people to listen to him. To listen means to hear or to hearken to his voice. This is important because I talked to you already about two things that hear means, or what it means to hearken to God. Number one, we talked about how when you hear God, you listen with purpose. Not just here at church, just to be here, but I'm here to listen with purpose. When you show up at church to listen with purpose, you'll find out that God is already speaking before the pastor ever takes the podium or begins to minister what we call the word. When you come to church listening with purpose, you allow God to speak to you in the prayer. You allow him to speak to you in the praise and in the worship. You allow him to speak to you at the time of giving, whether it's a deacon or a minister that's receiving the offering. You're listening with purpose. Because after all, you didn't just come just to come. You came to hear from God. You came to hear what thus saith the Lord. What is on God's mind? I want to know the mind of God. I didn't just come because I got a new dress this weekend. I didn't just come because I was able to wear my favorite tie and put it with a favorite pair of shoes. In other words, I did not come just to show off what I got on. Come on, hear somebody. I know I'm sharp, I know I'm clean, but it's bigger than that. I came to hear from God. I'm going through some things and I need to hear from God. Other folk are telling me to do this, that, and the other, but I'm not going to move until I know that I have heard from God. And whenever you learn to listen with purpose, God will speak to you. But you have to recognize in God talking to you, he often chooses to talk indirectly. And I know a lot of us would love for God to just speak to us directly, as if, you know, some folk, they pretend like God talking to them every day. Oh yeah, I need to talk about some of you real quick and then I'm gonna move on. You act like God talk to you 24/7, but that's just not the case, because a lot of time when it comes to God's people, he is often going to speak to them through somebody. And I know some of us don't like that. You say, Pastor, I pray every day. Yeah, but when you pray, sometime again, God chooses to hear your prayer, but then I'm going to talk to you through your pastor. Oh God, yeah, that's when you got to come to church, because I got something I want to say to you. Even when it came time for God to deliver Israel out of Egypt, out of 400 years of bondage, he could have did it any way he chose to do it, but he chose to use a man by the name of Moses. He said, Moses, you go down and you talk to Pharaoh for me, and you tell Pharaoh to let my people go. See, he was going to use Moses as a deliverer. And sometimes we're going through stuff and we have to listen to the one that God has chosen to use as a deliverer or as a mouthpiece. If you know I'm right, I dare you to high five somebody and shout, show he right, show he right, show he right. How many have ever had God speak to you through somebody and you knew it was God talking to you? How many have ever had God speak to you and he used nature, if you will? He used the wind to talk to you. Oh, come on. When somebody told you that God wasn't real, then all of a sudden you said, God, speak to me. And after they kept trying to convince you that God ain't real because you can't see him, then God talked to you through the wind. He caused a piece of paper to just move through a parking lot, and did he ask you a simple question? Can you see the wind that's moving the paper? And you couldn't see the wind, but you knew something was moving the paper. I come to tell you that though you can't see God, it's him moving in my life. Got the job that I got because God moved for me. Oh, good God Almighty. How many know know what I'm talking about? And God speaks. Shout to your neighbor real quick. God talks. You didn't shout it. Shout to your neighbor and say, God talks. But shout to him, but he never talks just to be talking. Have you ever talked just to hear yourself talk? Be honest, don't lie in church. Don't lie anywhere, but especially at church. I've been guilty of talking just to talk. I'm more wise than that, but I've been guilty of talking. Mouth is moving. And I don't even really know what's coming out. I don't even know the next thing I'm about to say. See, but I got wise. Learn to be slow to speak. Learn to mean what I say and say what I mean. But I had to learn that, had to mature, had to grow up. And when you grow up, sometimes you ain't got nothing to say, and you're quiet for a reason. Because you want to talk when God gives you something to say. Oh, Lord, have mercy. It's a few of y'all in here. Now, a bunch of you still talking to hear yourself talk. But God never talks just to be talking. Combine that with Jeremiah 3:15, where he said, I'll give you shepherds after my heart, after my own heart, who will feed you with knowledge and understanding. Jeremiah 3:15. So if the shepherd or the pastor is an extension of God or has the heart of God, and we know biblically the heart is not referring to the organ, but that the heart is in fact referring to your feelings and your choices and your mindset. See, when God truly gives a church a pastor, he's giving them somebody that's going to choose like he chooses. Oh, Lord, that's going to think the way he thinks. And so if I am to listen to God with purpose, I have to recognize that the pastor is an extension of God. And so when pastor gets to talking, I need to listen with purpose. You also have to listen with the intent of obeying. Again, not just hearing for the sake of saying, yeah, I heard, Pastor, but no, I'm listening with the intent of obeying. I'm listening so that what I hear, I can do what Jesus said. I can use what I hear, and it'll cause me to increase. I'm listening with the intent of obeying. I'm listening so I can put the word into action. I'm listening so I can use the knowledge and understanding that Pastor is giving me and transform my life for the better. I'm in a hole that I can't get myself out of, so I'm listening to see what God would have for me to do. I'm listening because the doctors say they don't know what's going on with me, but I'm getting an understanding about the stripes that he took. I'm getting the understanding that he took 39 to the spine, that I could walk in divine healing. And then Jesus himself told a group of folk that healing is his children's bread. In other words, when I get an understanding, I may go through in my body, but I got a right to be healed. I got a right to feel better. Oh God, I'm preaching to somebody that's going through in your body. Make up in your mind that you got a right to be healed. That's part of your inheritance, that you walk in healing. Oh, come on, somebody. By his stripes, Peter said, we was healed. Past tense. Isaiah in Isaiah 55 was talking about healing, but then Peter, after Jesus took the stripe, looked back and said, by his stripe, we were healed. It's a done deal. But don't make the mistake like so many people who come to church, but they are religious in hearing. Pastor, what you mean religious in hearing? You know, just trained to say amen. I ain't going to do the word. Just trained to say, preach, Pastor. Deal with it, Pastor. But we need to listen with the intent to obey. Because that's the only time the word is guaranteed to change your life for the better once you become obedient to it. Once you become submissive to it. That's when Paul told the church, put your body under what? Subject. See, the flesh has to be put under subjection in order to obey the word. Because sometimes God will tell us to do that which he knows we don't want to do. And if you don't know how to put your flesh under subjection, you won't do what God tells you to do. You'll do what you feel like doing. And some of us in the state we in this morning as a result of always doing what you feel like doing rather than doing what God told you to do. Oh, I'd rather do what God tells me to do than do what my wife suggests. Some brothers didn't say nothing, but that's me. I speak for myself. Finally, I'm introducing to you a new definition in part 3 of be careful who you ignore, which is to listen intelligently. Listen to God intelligently. Which means if I listen to God intelligently, I'm not going to be dumb. No way, brother, you going to set up in the church under an anointed word. Listen with intelligence and be a dumb man. And see, some of us didn't amen it because we're thinking about what preachers have been telling some of us for years. And I have even quoted myself. You have to be careful what you repeat because some stuff that sound right just ain't right. Some stuff sound like Bible just ain't Bible. Oh, God, come on here, somebody. He said, knock and the door shall be open. Go read your Bible. He didn't say no door. He just said knock and it will be open. Listen intelligently. No way you going to come to church as a wife. Listen to the word intelligently. Been married for over 3 years, but you're still a dumb wife. Still acting silly, though you got responsibilities. You're a dumb wife. Now, ain't no need nobody get mad because I ain't calling nobody. I ain't calling no names. It ain't that you just single, sister. That ain't the problem. It's when we look at your choices. You single and he shouldn't call people dumb. But what if they dumb? That's the only thing you can truly say in reference to some of the choices that some of us make. You have to come to a conclusion. You mean to tell me you've been coming to this church 10 years, you signed a paper that you didn't read? That you had no understanding? You mean to tell me you took the car knowing it was 23% interest rate? I can't help but to call that. You would have been better off getting a cash car. Oh, Lord. See, y'all don't like hearing this. See, some of us want, I want a new car. Yeah, but at 23% interest rate, you paying 3 to 4 times more than somebody who got the same. See, folk don't like stuff like this because sometimes life don't get better until we choose to stop doing dumb stuff. Yeah, you can change churches, but if you don't stop doing that dumb stuff, it's going to mess up your life. Yeah, you can get a divorce and find somebody else to marry, but if you don't stop doing that dumb stuff, oh, yeah, see, that's preaching right here. Somebody got to stop doing that dumb stuff. You can get a raise. But if you don't stop doing that dumb stuff, you will look back. You got a $4 raise and you doing worse. Why? It's that dumb stuff. And it's not that you didn't have no money left over. It's what you chose to do with that which was left over. Doing that dumb stuff. On the big screen TV so bad that you've written one for $200 a week for 36 months. Can you please add that up? Surely you don't want no big screen that bad. See, it's setting in now. Because some of us do that. We do that dumb stuff. Well, so-and-so, I ain't seen them in a while. They've been missing church. Some of you friends with them, you don't want to tell the truth. Pastor, they've been doing that dumb stuff again. What's she doing, Pastor? That girl back in the club. Man, that's the dumb stuff. He back drinking. He back doing that dumb stuff. Woo! Say a word like that, you got to let it sink. He need to move on. See, you need to stop thinking you know what the pastor need to do. That's that dumb stuff. You telling all your business on Facebook. And you a leader in the church. You doing that. These sinners posting inappropriate pictures. You saved, but I see you liked it. You loved it. You encouraged it. That's that dumb stuff. See, when it comes to obeying God, one thing we have to recognize. Notice he told Israel, he said, I would that you would listen to me. Watch this. That you would walk in my ways. In my ways. In my commandments. In my statutes. In my ordinances. That's why I want you to walk in my ways. But see, one of the biggest problems to walking in God's way is that if we're going to walk God's way, that means we ain't going to walk our way. Look at Isaiah. Look at Isaiah. I'm almost done. Hang in. Look at Isaiah 55. And nobody, as you turn to Isaiah 55, has messed some of us up more so than we have messed up ourselves. I know we talk about what folk did to us, but some of us, we just get down to what they call the nitty. To where the rubber meets the. Nobody has messed you up more than you. Woo! Pastor, if they wouldn't have did this, if they wouldn't have said that, okay, you got a point, but then let's go back and look at if you wouldn't have did that. Let's go back and look at if you wouldn't have said that. Let's go back and look if you wouldn't have went over there, if you wouldn't have gave him your number. See, it's a lot of things we can look back and say, if I would have. But see, nobody messes some of us up more than. But you have to learn, even be taught. That when God starts talking, he may not say what you want him to say. He may not say what you want him to say. Watch it, and I want to show you why. I want to show you why. Isaiah 55. Because when I was a young Christian, I prayed. I just felt like God wasn't talking to me. Then the more I started being taught, I recognize he is talking. He's just not saying what I want to hear. Lord, I want out. You ain't going nowhere. Lord, I've had enough. No, it's just beginning. Lord, how long till I say enough is enough? See, sometimes he talking. He just ain't saying what. Lord, I'm tired of that job. I'm tired of the way they treat me. You be still. Be still. I got you here for elevation. I got you here for promotion. See, sometimes God will put you in a place. And it's for elevation, but not at that place. Watch this. This is a arraignment for somebody. You at that place to learn what not to do. So he'll keep you there for years, pointing out people, letting you know, don't be like that. Oh, see, that's when you got to get beyond what your supervisor is doing to you. And you got to recognize that God is going to elevate you into management. But before he do it, he going to teach you. He going to learn you through a bad supervisor what a good supervisor need to do. And so you're for years setting up under a bad supervisor, learning how to be a good supervisor. Come on, when somebody tell you that their children's sick and you won't let them go, or that supervisor won't let people go, see, then you learn to be sensitive. You learn to feel folk pain. You learn to treat folk like they're human and not just another number. Even if you got a discipline, you still go respect them and let them know. That's a good leader. But sometimes we want to be promoted overnight. No, you ain't learned enough yet. Sometimes you ain't suffered enough yet to lead nobody. Come on. Because some of you ready to give orders, but you can't take orders. I'll say it again. I didn't get that many clap, but I'll be brave enough to say it again. I'll do it again. You ain't got to amen. I'll do it again. Some of you love giving orders. You just can't take no orders. And the reason folk won't obey you is because you won't obey your leader. Isaiah 55. Something to think about, ain't it? Now listen to God talking to his people. For my thoughts are not your thoughts. You know, some of you like tell folk that you always know what God thinking. Look what God telling you today. He said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor my ways, nor your ways, my ways. Says who? Well, I'm close. You ain't close. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your, and my thoughts than your what? Tell your neighbor, sometimes God's thinking is so far from ours. We ain't even in the same galaxy. We ain't in the same universe.
Thank you for watching A Word for Deliverance with Pastor Leonard Cochran of A Place of Refuge, Noonan. A Place of Refuge is located at 10 Fisher Alley in the city of Noonan, Georgia. If you would like to visit us, our worship times are every Sunday at 10:15 a.m. and Wednesdays at 7:15 p.m. To order today's message on CD, please call the church office at 770-252-3855 and reference the order number on the screen.